This is the Londoner on RTE 2XM. My name's Nessy, and today, well, it feels like I'm catching up. Well, it's not just that it feels like I'm catching up with an old friend. I am catching up with an old friend. It's funny how people change, life changes, but the love of music remains. And I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined by Phil from... Introduce yourselves.
It's Phil Keogh from Velourias.
Yay! First off, did you get the name of the band from the Pixies?
Well, I think what happened was we were thinking about changing the band name anyway, and I think it just got to the point where we had our first record finished and we really wanted to release it. And I think we just panicked and we just decided to pick Velourias for some crazy reason. If I could go back, I might change it. A lot of people seem to have difficulty pronouncing the word, but I'm sure we can figure that out in the future.
It's great to catch up with you. Just before we came on air, I was trying to figure out when we spoke last, and we reckon it was about 2004.
Well, I think we would have spoken a lot, probably in every dingy venue in Dublin, some which are not even in existence anymore.
No, no. Once upon a time, I used to book the Voodoo Lounge, and used to play. You used to play in that Voodoo Lounge. You were in a band called Jessica Insane.
Yeah, man, Jessica Insane. Now that was a good band name, but the Voodoo Lounge was a great venue, and it used to let anybody play, which I think is the reason why we ended up there. Thanks to you.
You were a good band. You were a good band.
Yes, we were.
And you also, at the time, you were one of the very few bands that had a female member and had a female drummer.
Yeah, for Britta Waters, God rest her soul. We lost Britta a couple of years ago.
No way.
Yeah, I know. She was in a kayaking accident, unfortunately, in Cork, and she got into a little bit of trouble, and unfortunately, she died. She passed. So for me and Rob, I think that was really one of those things which kind of drew us closer together again and got us thinking about our music and all the things we've kind of been through, and whether or not we were gonna actually make something worthy of it, you know. But she'll forever be part of our lives, man. And we miss
Yeah,
her.
I'm really sorry to hear that. She was a really nice person, really good fun too.
Yeah, she was really good fun. You know that, right?
Really good fun, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you guys have this bond that not a lot of people will have. You've had this life experience and life changing experience that has brought your friendship closer. How has that, as you've gone on with music, how has that kind of influenced how you guys play as a band?
I think kind of the main way it's kind of influenced is that, like, at least, when we write a song, you kind of you can kind of look at the other guy, you can look at Rob, or you can look at our drummer Nick, and you just get that feeling, the hairs stand up in the back of your neck, and you got a really good song, man, and you vibe off each other. You learn to naturally vibe. It's like a natural thing, it's a natural thing in your body that you learn to feed off the energy of the other person. Now, I don't know if it's because we know each other so well, or that, we're just on the same kind of wavelength mentally, but it's always been something which is there, and it's kind of, it can kind of work in peaks and troughs, even particularly from a songwriting perspective. There can be peaks and troughs, but you know when you have a good tune because everybody's just feeling it, man.
It's a while now since you released music. You've released two singles now, but you released an album like it's about 10 years ago, is it?
Yeah. So I think like we were living in the UK, we were living in Leeds at the time, and we self-recorded the album there. We put so much work into it. We were also gigging at the time simultaneously while recording. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to try and make a great record. And you know, by the time it was finished and packaged up and released, I think we were all just a little bit kind of bummed out and sick of one another. It kind of goes back to the whole kind of peaks and troughs type of thing, which is kind of like the band has kind of been a constant for me in life, a constant for a creative outlet. And, I think at the time, we kind of just took our eye off the ball slightly. We were all doing different things. Some of us were settling down. I did some traveling. I went to China for a while. Nick was doing his own thing. He did some traveling. But I think by the time the album came around, we were all just so tired at the time. But these things happen, and you kind of learn to re-love again.
When you guys came together as this band, how did Nick get involved?
I think Nick. I think we found Nick through an old Irish music organization called Gig Smart, which I know you know about. Gig Smart were a really cool setup, like run by some really cool people. And I think Nick was just kind of hanging around Gig Smart, waiting to join a band. And, I think I might have just tried to convince him to come down and give it a blast. Like, and thank God it worked out because he's a dedicated lad. Is our Nick, and not only is he a dedicated lad, but he's a clever lad too. And he's done a lot of things in the background regards self-recording, and he kind of knows the technology, the back end of how things are done. Because to be honest, me and Rob, we're talented dudes, but I don't think we don't have the technical aspect like Nick does. So that gave us the ability to kind of learn to self-record and kind of do things on a DIY basis, you know.
And is that how you worked now with the two singles you've just released?
Yeah. The two singles are all self-recorded in a rehearsal studio up off Euston Station. So I think it was pretty much a condemned, dilapidated building that they were recorded in. Don't know if it added to the sound. Probably did. Pretty dingy place, man.
Added to the vibe anyway.
Absolutely. You can hear the ghosts, dude.
So come here, I want to ask you about the current single. Now, the first single that you released there earlier this year was We Float Down Rivers. But Old Age Home Lament, I think, is... I put that on and I played it. And I've known that it was going to be good because I know you're talented musicians. I know that. But the lyrics in this and the storytelling, and what I found about this was you can actually see the words being sung, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's a scary thought that any of us could have to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it depends how you take it, really. I get, for every 10 or 11 Dermot Kennedys out there, like they're all just kind of singing about relationships and stuff like that. And it doesn't really do anything for me as a music fan. I was never really into that type of thing. That's why we want to write interesting songs with interesting themes. Now, we're not trying to necessarily raise awareness to old age loneliness or anything like that, But if it's a byproduct of it, then that's great. But we just like artistically as a band, we just like interesting topics, slightly off topic type of subjects, and it might be slightly weird to some people, but it certainly makes it more interesting.
So are these two tracks then, are they going to be part of another album, or are you working towards an EP, or what way is it? Because a lot of things have changed since you released your first album.
Yeah, like we're gonna be releasing a few more tracks, and we have 6 or 7 more tracks that we have to get into the studio to record by the end of the year. But it's all coming together really well, and all the tracks sound excellent, and they've all got cool titles, and they're interesting, and they're very punk. Some of them are a little bit more new wave, some of them are a bit more noisier, but it's all real good stuff. But over you know the whole album, they are quite melodious. Like, that's something that we tend to try and not forget. Like, they're melodic as well. So yeah, the next step is to try and get that record done, because as Nick said it to me the other day, he said, we got to record these new songs. This is some of the best stuff we've ever written. So, we're all really, really pumped for it.
It's really encouraging that, like 20 years later, we can catch up and that you're still as into your music as you were then. It's not just for lots and lots of people. I think when they're really young, they can get caught up in the rat race and lose the love of music. And, the corporate world or whatever can just drag them into this money pit, which I hate. And would never want to go down, which is probably why I'm broke. But I mean, yourself, it's like you have that music is the like one of the main things still in your life, and you have that like creative thing that you have to still do it. And I think that's pretty cool, and I think it's pretty rare as well. A lot of people don't give themselves the opportunity to allow that to happen.
Yeah, like I feel very grateful to music itself for what it's got me through, and it's been a constant in my life. And the way we kind of approach the band is that we just want this to be sustainable. We're not necessarily looking to be the next big thing, although I'd probably snap your hand off. But if we can be a sustainable band, that's kind of our main goal. You know, I'm one of those kind of weird people who actually likes their day job as well. You know what I mean? So for me, music and the band, and for the other guys too, I mean, it's a creative outlet. You know, let's not forget that the whole point of this is to be creative and to create art, and to use that as some kind of outlet, for when you're having a bad day, or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. Music, it's been a constant.
So have you guys any plans then to gig around Dublin, or where are you gigging? Where are you based? I reckon that you're still in Dublin.
Yeah, yeah, we're still in Dublin. Yeah, that ain't gonna change. I mean, we rehearse down off the Richmond Road near Shell's ground, and we've been gigging locally. We've been back gigging locally around Dublin. We've played Whelan's, a few other venues, mainly just to kind of remember how to do it again. Like the first gig we did back was in up there. What's the bloody name of it? The Bellow Bar. So it was like this kind of gig that a friend in work wanted to put on. So it was a real eye opener to see could we actually pull it off again, and you know, pull some shapes on stage, if you will. And it went, went really good. It went so good. Like we went down so well on the night. Like we were just so pumped for days after. Literally pumped, man. And I think that really spurred us on to keep going and going and going. I mean, it's a life thing, man. And like if one of us needs to kind of drop out for a while, that's fine too, because it's a life thing, and hell yeah.
If people want to find out more about you guys, where's the best place for them to go?
Yeah, just on Instagram or Twitter, Velourias Dublin on Twitter, Velourias Dublin on Instagram, Velourias Dublin on Facebook. We're pretty active on the social media game at the minute. It's great to be able to have that there. And you don't need huge backing from some corporate asshole. So nice, like so Rob tends to do the majority of the social media work, so thank God for him.
Listen, it has been genuinely lovely to chat to you again, and lovely to catch up with you. Love
Same.
to Rob and Nick. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you, Vanessa. Thank you. Bye bye.